Good evening, everybody, and this is my Module 5 Continuous Improvement for AEP 858. My name is Nick Flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with my district. I work for USD 309 here in Kansas, and as we're talking about this, we want to let you know that we represent a school with a very mixed economic ability. We actually sit at just over 50% economically disadvantaged. This does place us as a Title I school, and we have a lot of students who struggle. Now, even though we have 42% that are non-economically disadvantaged, that's a very fine line. In Reno County, most families fall under economically disadvantaged. So we have to understand that we as educators are here to discipline. Ideally isn't something we do to students. It should be a quality we develop within them. So the reason I like this quote is pretty simple. We as educators are here to help guide these students to become the best that they can become. To do this, we can't just simply pound. You have to guide. You have to create. You have to mold. So we are trying to help develop these concepts in our students, not just discipline it into them. So one thing we have to look at is where our district is. As shown, we are a building that is performing low, especially in districts comparatively to our size. Now, we have more than half of our students, actually more than 75% of our students, performing in Tier 1 and Tier 2 in both math and language arts. So when this situation is occurring, we're trying to push our district to improve, which it did to a degree. But as we got more kids in level 4, we also have more kids who fell into level 1. So it becomes a question of, are we hitting it in the right way? Are we actually getting it, the missing link and connecting it? Or are we taking that link from the other end and moving it forward? Are we trying to help those kids that are almost there more than the kids that need it more? We need to know, where do we want to be? Our goal, you need to be meeting the state level. If they're saying that you should have no more than 37% of your students in level 2 and no more than 24% in level 1, then you're talking you should be just over 50% in those two sections. You should be dealing with more than 30% of your students in the level 3 and level 4. Those are our students who are supposed to be meeting at the college and career readiness level. We need to be pushing our students to not just be college and career ready, but we need to actually be making sure that they're life ready. We need to be making sure that these students know how to handle issues, and we need to make sure that they know how to go forth and figure out what they need to do to be productive members of our society. So again, we have to meet state level. You're not growing, then you're not getting better. You're not doing our job as an education system. Some things that we as a district can do to get there. 1, use data appropriately. We as educators need to dive into the data, not just looking at the RIT score or looking at, oh, these kids are way below the 21 on the ACT, but figuring out, okay, this is what these students missed. This is what they need to be able to get to the next level. The best way to think about this is to know the 9 myths of data, which we're working on in another Fortes class. And you need to understand that data doesn't mean looking at numbers. It means looking at what is going on and how can we fix it. Another, use active classroom initiative. In our district, we want to get our students up. A brain that has been up and moving for 20 minutes is so much stronger. It's going to have an ability to connect so many more neurons and be able to help students succeed. So we as a district, if we want to get there, we need to get our students active. We need to have them moving. We need to have them not stagnant in a chair taking notes. We need to monitor progress in each class. We as the instructors have to do our job in the classroom to see, okay, Johnny is doing this. We need to take him to here. And we need to figure out how to get them through that and to guide them create a guide to help new teachers. So many teachers today burn out because of the simple fact when you give them a classroom roster and say, well, you got 4 different preps, good luck, here's the curriculum that we have, and you tell them to completely make their own thing, they over prep and they over prepare to the extent that they burn out because they have no free time because they're overworking themselves. So we need to have a way to actually help these teachers become better at their job without having them burn out in the first 3 years. And lastly, involve our stakeholders. We need to know that it's our job to get the public involved. We need to collect public data and make sure that they know what is going on in our district. What do we need to repair it? How can they help us and how can we help them? Lastly, can we make a change? Absolutely. We as educators, we need to build those relationships. If we connect with our students and we help them to understand that we're here simply to support them, then we'll give a stronger connection and we'll be able to help these students feel they're not on their own. Because so often, these students that are economically disadvantaged, again, we're over half our schools that way, you're dealing with a situation where they're not used to having that support and success. Everyone can see it if we guide them to. So I'm going to leave you a little quote here as an instructor. You must be the change you want to see in the world. Gandhi said it because of fact. It's a fact. If you want to see these students succeed, you have to go see what you're going to do to change it. How are you going to alter your classroom to make it better? How are you going to discipline ideally so that way the quality we develop within them? Thank you very much.